Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for reinstituting that. Okay.
America. All right, good evening and welcome to the Lincoln County Courthouse. This meeting of the Lincoln County Planning Commission will begin with a few introductory remarks. This meeting is being streamed live, and when adjourned and posted, it will be available at lincolncountysd.gov. The order of events tonight will be as follows. For each public hearing, staff will introduce the agenda item and present a summary of the staff findings. The applicant will then be asked to explain their proposal in further detail and to answer any questions from the County Planning Commission. I will then open the floor to public comment, first for persons in support of the application, and then for persons in opposition of the application. When you step up to the podium, please state your name, address, and speak clearly into the microphone. Please limit your comments to less than 5 minutes. Lastly, decisions on changes of zoning and zoning ordinance will be scheduled for additional public hearing during upcoming Board of Commissioners meeting. The decisions on conditional use applications may be appealed to the Board of Commissioners by submitting a letter to the County Planning and Zoning Office within 5 business days. Thank you for your cooperation. All right, we will do a roll call. Please state your name for the record. We'll start with you, Commissioner Sweeter.
Commissioner Sweeter here. Betty Otten here.
Jerry Jungling's here.
Commissioner Boots here.
Scott Green here.
All right, thank you, everybody. We will now approve the meeting minutes. Are there any corrections, Mr. Brown?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. I'll ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
So moved. Green.
Second, Boots.
All right, now take call. Commissioner Sweeter,
Yes.
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Commissioner Boots,
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Jung is also a yes. Yeah, I should have said that we do have a quorum tonight, but yes. All right, Green, you second, and Todd, you were first, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now we'll move to approve the meeting agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda, Mr. Brown?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'll ask for a motion.
Motion approve agenda, Boots.
Second, Sweeter.
All right, we have a motion second. Any discussion, any changes? Not, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Sweeter,
Yes.
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Commissioner Boots,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
and Commissioner Jungling is also a yes. All right. With that, I'll ask for any public input on non-agenda items. So if there's anybody in the audience like to speak on anything not on the agenda, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the floor. And with that, we're on to our first item, change of zone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Board. Toby Brown, representing County Planning Department. This first item before you is an application for a change of zone request. This change of zone is a request to change from, there's a little mixed zoning on some of these parcels, so it's the RC Rec Conservation District and the A1 Agricultural District to the PD Plan Development District. Subject property is located in the quadrant of 273rd Street and 479th Avenue. This is within Dayton Township. The access will be off of Dayton Township roads. On the comprehensive plan connecting Lincoln County 2050, this property is identified as a planned growth area. Subject property, as noted, is that there's 3 parcels that were platted by the city of Harrisburg previously. And one of the parcels has, the north parcel is fully zoned RC Rec Conservation. The second parcel is a mix of RC Recreation Conservation and A1 Agricultural. And the third parcel going to the south would be zone A1 Agricultural. As you can see, surrounding properties are primarily zone A1 agricultural, and then going across the road, there is like zoning with RC Rec and also RR rural residential district. Subject property is essentially 3 undeveloped lots. These were parceled off. There is no structures on these lots that are proposed for the change of zone this evening. So the applicant did submit what we'll call an initial development plan and a final development plan, identifying that each of these 3 individual lots that were previously platted by the city of Harrisburg would allow construction of a single-family dwelling on the property. And so if you recall, we did have an application on this property previously, and as you recall, at that time, it did not meet the comprehensive plan requirements. Since that time, we've adopted a new comprehensive plan, and with this planned growth area, we look to the underlying zoning, which is the city of Harrisburg. They have subdivision authority. This is within their growth area. The city of Harrisburg has identified both of these lots for rural residential development. So the application is consistent with the city of Harrisburg's comprehensive plan and the Lincoln County comprehensive plan. And so the applicant we did have 2 neighborhood meetings on site, and we invited all of the people that were part of the notification. And so at that meeting, again, one of the concerns in the previous application is the unlimited ability to, if we rezoned it to rural residential, we could put multiple houses on those lots. And so through the plan development process, we restricted to just 1 single-family dwelling per lot. As well as within the covenants noted in the staff report that the minimum, essentially first floor level would be 2,000 square feet would be the minimum on the houses. And then also within the regulations, did limit the accessory building size to 2,400 square feet. And there is no ability to circumvent that. That would be the maximum size that an accessory building could be on the property. So a little bit apart, the recommendation is that going through a planned development district, that's a non-conventional zoning district, so you're aware of like your A1, your commercial, your industrial, your rural residential, all are set kind of what we call standard zoning districts. A planned development zoning district is meant to be a new zoning district. Essentially, it's not a conventional zoning district. So staff did work with the applicant. We also worked with the neighbors at the neighborhood meetings to talk about what their concerns were. Also visited with staff from the city of Harrisburg. So if anything, I think this is a first application we can really say the comprehensive plan, this is what the comprehensive plan envisioned. I think it's what we work towards. City of Harrisburg is in support of this application, staff-wise. They've reviewed the regulations and the proposals. But essentially, this change of zone would restrict the development of these 3 parcels to 1 single-family dwelling and the ability to construct 1 accessory building for 2,400 square feet. No other land uses would be allowed on these parcels. So as you're aware, when agriculture would not be allowable on these parcels, as well as any type of business or commercial uses on these properties. So really the goal of that was to work with the neighbors to make sure that it acclimated into their surrounding development and those different types of things. So with that recommendation, staff does recommend that this application is consistent with the comprehensive plan for Lincoln County. Recommend approval of this change of zone with the stipulation of the plan development regulations that were listed under the recommendation. So again, each lot would have 1 ability to construct 1 single-family dwelling. Lot and yard regulations would exceed what we have for minimum lot and yard regulations. Do have 1 correction that I'll have you guys make to it is that's under sub-area 2.5. So we went with in the draft, we went the lot area would be 3.64 acres. That's the lot, essentially sub-area 1. Sub-area 2 and sub-area 3 are smaller lots. They're 3.28 and 2.67. So we'll just correct that for the minimum lot area for those lots. One other concern of the neighbors is that, as you're aware, the county has no jurisdiction over replatting this property. So the city of Harrisburg can replat this property if petitioned by the applicant with really no input from the county. But since we're limiting to just those parcels, if there is any replat of those parcels, they won't be honored as additional building on those parcels. So if one of the property owners decides, well, I don't want 3.28 acres, I want to split that in half, that they won't be allowed to build anything else on that with these restrictions as recommended. So I think that addresses most of what the application is. The applicant, Rob Kurtenbach, cannot be here tonight. He does have a representative here tonight that can answer any questions that you might have for the board, or for the applicant. But with that, again, staff does recommend approval with the stipulations of the Plan Development District as listed in the staff report. With that, I'll turn it back to the chair and answer any questions that the board has for staff at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Commissioners, any questions for staff? I got one for you.
Yep.
How attended were those two neighborhood meetings? How many people roughly were each one?
I didn't really keep a sign-in sheet or a log, but it was pretty, there was a good turnout.
Okay, good turnout.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say a good turnout. More so than I think we have at the public meeting tonight. There was probably more, there's some of them here tonight, but I think there was more at those meetings and stuff
Sure.
like that. But, yeah, I think it was a good, I think it's valuable for staff because I think we realize that, a lot of public will come to this meeting and, they have questions as opposed to comments. And so that was one thing that came up quite a bit at that meeting was that like, well, when do we get answers to the questions? And I'm like, well, it's not at this meeting because it's really just for you to public comment on it. But I do think that it was the ability to answer those questions and I think the ability to work with those neighbors. And I should say is we did post the property and did send notification again to this public hearing. So they were duly notified of this public hearing as well too. But yeah, I think it was successful in that aspect, but I guess that's depends on what the neighbors say too. So, but.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing that. I like hearing that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it was valuable for staff, yeah, so.
All right,
Mr. Chair.
commissioners. Commissioner Green.
Marlene's got some. I'll go after her.
Is this on a township road, Toby?
Yes,
And the township was okay with this?
yes, Dayton Township has approved a permit. They want a shared driveway on lots 1 and 2. And they would have it'd be one singular driveway on lot 3. That was their stipulation, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chair. So you had mentioned that, based on the type of zoning of this, there wouldn't be the ability to build future after this. But with this, Toby, are the owners allowed to come for like a conditional use permit for anything else? To have conditions then put on the property to do other things with it? Where would a conditional use permit come into play on a property like this?
No, great question. So there would be no conditional use permits. The only way that the regulations could be circumvented if it was a major amendment, which would require essentially what we're doing tonight. So they'd have to do a public hearing before the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners to change that with neighbor notification.
Okay.
So it's just kind of a higher standard process, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, this time I'll ask the applicant and/or their representative to come forward and talk about their application.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bo Koppel. Here for Rob Kurtenbach. If you have any questions for me, just one thing to note, there is a full set of covenants and restrictions on the property, and he will be putting that recorded onto the properties once this is completed, so. Do you guys have any questions for me?
All right, commissioners, any questions for the representative?
Do you roughly know what kind of covenants there's going to be?
About 13 pages. So just one thing to note, so Rob himself, in the lot to the south, his intent is to build out there. So he is going to be an adjacent neighbor to these properties. So these covenants are in line with what he wants to live next to. He gave me a whole sheet of what I could talk through, but if you got any specific questions, one of the things I would say is item 16 on his covenants is he has no lot will be subdivided as part of the covenants. Couple of the other things I would state is he does have in there that written approval needs to be completed by him on any site plans or additions or subtractions to the property. when it comes to structures. Couple things in the types of construction. Once the lot is bought, they have 12 months to construct their home. So the lot won't be sitting out there for a long period of time. No structure can be a barn dominium or a house. Minimum 2,000 square feet on the main for the structure itself. All homes shall have a 3-stall garage. Things like that, so,
Thank you.
yep.
Commissioner Sweeter?
As far as the shared driveway, is that shared driveway going to be put in before those lots are sold?
I cannot answer that question, but I would assume it would, and I can call Rob if that is something important.
I'm speaking from experience. It should be put in before they're sold.
Sure. So we do have approval from Dayton Township. I do have that approval here. If that's something that needs to happen, I'm sure Rob's not gonna balk at completing that.
Just saying, in the township we were in, we approved a shared driveway, but the driveway did not get put in, and so it brought about
Yeah,
some problems for the township.
Yep.
It should have been put in and then the lot sold.
oh, sure. Yeah, no, I understand that. I used to be the head of the Valley Township, so I understand.
Commissioners? All right, thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Mr. Brown?
I would just add to what Bo said is that the covenants, my understanding, were based on Lakeview Estates, which is one of our more successful residential developments up by Lake Elvin. And at the second meeting, Rob did go through every item of the covenants with the people that were in attendance there, so, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll ask anybody in favor of the application, please come forward and speak. All right, I'll ask for anybody in opposition of the application, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the floor to public input, and I'll ask for a motion from the commission.
I'll make a motion to approve with the stipulations. Boots.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second. Sweeter.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion, commissioners.
Can I ask, Mr. Chair, can I ask Toby a question?
Yes.
Mr. Brown? So this is what I'm struggling with. You know, obviously, our comprehensive plan is fairly new, and just trying to make sure that I understand it. But as written, as it says, from the comprehensive plan criteria, so we get in the sevens of this, right? So 7.2.1, future land designations, 2, planned growth areas. Where I struggle is, these areas shall provide a seamless transition between county and incorporated properties that reflect the desired vision of the municipality. And I get that. You know, planned growth areas out here, my struggle is, you know, I get this is within Harrisburg's platting authority. But Harrisburg's not gonna be out in this area for a long time, I don't believe. But I just struggle with the intent of the comprehensive plan and the seamless transition between the county and the incorporated areas. Is there, I guess I just don't remember talking about this when we were creating the comprehensive plan and stuff like that, but it's, can you kind of walk me through what your interpretation of that is?
So I think one of the things that when we were working on the comprehensive plan was to make sure that this premature development out in these areas is easily annexable when the city gets there. And so one of the things that, if you look in the regulations we put, is to arrange utilities in such a way that future services are easily connected. So what that means is we're gonna work with the individual applicant landowners to make sure, you know, primarily the septic would be placed in the front yard. So that way all the interior plumbing is forced towards the road so that when the city gets there, they can easily annex it and go through that process. As far as that, I think that's what the intent of that, what that policy was, or that guiding area was. As far as the rest of it, we're going to work with, as you can see in the layout of that concept plan, we want to make sure we work with the landowners so that they can easily annex, or at some point in time, if they can re-subdivide those lots. So that's kind of a step two part of the conversation. But, as proposed, it does meet the city's requirements for minimum lot size, minimum regulations. The land use should be acceptable when the city gets there, especially the size of those outbuildings and things like that. Those are some things that we wanted to make sure that they're easily acclimated into the city as far as when they're annexed. But in saying that, Commissioner, that's up to each individual interpretation of what you see there. What I would say again is that we did communicate well with city staff, and they really had no objections to the proposal or the layout or the regulations as stipulated.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. All right, comments, commissioners?
Just don't start with me with the voting.
I'm sorry, what's
Just
that?
don't start with me with the voting.
Okay. Anybody else? Well, I'll offer up mine. So when this came in front of our board the first time, I can't remember, a year or 2 years ago,
2 years
whatever that
ago,
was. I struggled with it because I don't like this island growth and whatnot. And then we had a lot of the neighbors speaking against it, and it wasn't our comprehensive plan for this. Since then, our comprehensive plan does allow this, and I think Toby and the owner has done a really good job limiting outbuildings. No businesses are allowed, no subdividing is allowed in the future. And Rob is a stamp guy to community too, so I don't doubt any of that. With the community input meetings and all that, I think this is going to be a good development. It'll match the area. And this land, I don't know it personally, but I don't know if it's crop ground or farm ground or anything. You can really do anything except for some good houses. So I'll be in favor of it. That was my 2 cents. Any other discussion? Are you okay, Mr. Green? Commissioner Green? Will you do it?
I'll have to be, yeah.
I'm not in a hurry, I'm not pushing.
No, that's. So all three of these lots then have a building eligibility, right? Building eligibilities aren't in question here because they've been replatted by the municipality, is that right?
Well, they will with the rezone, with the change of zone. The change of zone is giving each lot one essentially right to build a single-family dwelling on it.
Okay. So under that, I'm just trying, unintended consequences, right? So how many then, if we all of a sudden allow 3 building eligibilities out in the country? Because this is essentially out in the country.
Mhm.
Is this like, all of a sudden are we gonna get a bunch of these? Like, that's kind of my struggle here is, is this now a new loophole that people are gonna use to try to bring forth and gain building eligibility, as long as they go through the city or the municipality to say, yep, let's replat this, and then all of a sudden it's a planned growth area, and then the next thing you know, I don't know, that's my struggle.
So I'd answer that the same way I answered it to the neighbors, is that their concern was the property across the road. Would that open up additional development there? So I said no, because the city of Harrisburg's comprehensive plan only identifies those 3 lots and this entire vicinity as future residential.
Do you know why those were a carve out?
Because if you recall, the city of Harrisburg did support the first application. And so, getting back to my original answer to your question is, when I've been telling people that what's the concept of the planned growth area, It's really getting all of it to pieces put together. The number one piece is the neighborhood. It's making sure that this is gonna acclimate into the neighborhood, whether or not it's long-range planning and the city can annex this and it all works within that framework. We needed to make sure that the neighbors are on board with what's going on out here with that. Their largest concern was the density. They don't want 10 houses out here. They don't want, 5 houses out there. They're okay with the 3 houses as proposed. It's gonna fill in that area. It's gonna allow it to, the rest of that area, which was the concern that it was originally with the Board of Commissioners was, is that when you look at this entire area, I mean, when we pull this up, I mean, this is a fully developed area. These are the 3 lots right here. It didn't meet the original comp plan because we didn't guide it for residential anywhere outside of the cities or outside of a building eligibility. The planned growth area is we're guiding everything to that area. There's 2 applications coming next month within these areas, commercial and a residential. And so there's going to be a number of applications that we're looking towards the underlying zoning, what the city wants it to be to get there. So to better answer your question, if we were putting commercial there, that would be against the city's future plans. The city identifies that as future residential. So we're looking at it from a zoning perspective and other perspectives too.
As long as the county, or as long as the city continues to grow out there, it's still the county's responsibility to provide services, provide, police services out there. Like that's,
Yep.
like, I get the city's okay with it, but what I struggle is the strain that it continues to put on the counties. We can continue to put more things out there, so.
And I'm going to say this is the first time that I think that I've ever presented an application where we had the township signed off on the access points. That's always an after we go through this process. So I think we checked all the boxes. Is everything perfect? No, but I think we've addressed, how it's supposed to work. But again, that's just staff's analysis, and like I said, the comp plan guides it for that. If the city of Harrisburg supports it, they support it, so. And, the neighbors, I think, are on board with what the proposal is at this stage, so. Thank you.
Thanks, Toby.
Yeah, I do understand exactly where you're coming from, Commissioner Green.
Oh, I remember when we talked about this 2 years ago. Like
Yep.
it was, I think a lot of our opinions probably haven't changed, just the plan changed, and I struggle with, the city with, approving things that expends county resources, right? Like it's, I don't know. It's a beautiful area. It's, love to have 4 acres out there.
Mhm. Now I'm thinking again.
Like when it's on the screen, it looks like a nice square, right? It's like I get that. I just don't want to open Pandora's box for the county.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that, but the one thing I like about this one versus the last one is it's kind of filling in them 3 boxes with 3 houses instead of multiple housing, and it's got to pretty much stay that way. And obviously, Toby did a great job with talking to the neighbors, because I remember the last go-around, I think that was one of my first meetings as a commissioner, and the place was pretty full, and there wasn't one neighbor wanted that to happen out there. Well, this time, it's pretty quiet in here, so I lean towards approval.
Well, with that, Marlene, are you okay?
Well, I think because we're rezoning it, it tends to lead different than eligibilities per se, because now we're rezoning it. We're not basing it off eligibilities, we're rezoning it, which is entirely different than eligibilities. So, am I right, Toby? I mean, are we still basing it off eligibilities?
No, like that's the argument, right? So all of a sudden, if you rezone, you don't need eligibilities anymore.
Well, I mean, on December 24th, when the County Board of Commissioners adopted the new comprehensive plan, they put on notice that that entire area, but outside of that entire area, there is no way this would happen. It's only in that area that you could do something like this. And I think that the number one thing is, like I told the neighbors, you know, the property to the east, that's a whole different scenario where I concur with you that we would look at what the impacts to the county would be on a developing, you know, like 300 lots or 50 lots or something like that. But I think it's duly noted, Commissioner, about the comments about the impacts is in the county, because everything we do impacts the county. And as you know, the resources that we have are limited every year, get limited every year. So I think that's just a marching order to staff to come up with an answer to you about how we can make sure that, you know, we've talked about over the years, is there impact fees that we could do, much like the cities do? You know, so that the development pays for what the future cost of development's gonna be. But we don't have any of that in place right now. But it's definitely something that with your recommendation tonight, we can start looking at those things, what the impact of that is. But answer your question, Commissioner.
Yes.
So there is no eligibilities here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here if there was eligibilities on those lots.
Correct.
So they're platted lots, so my understanding is though is that he did, the previous year's taxes, he did get assessed like there was eligibilities on it though, so, but, so.
On your map up there, Toby, can you overlay Harrisburg's planned growth area? Is that one of our filters?
Yep.
So it stops at the high, or the road right
Stops
there.
right there,
It
yeah.
stops right there.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no way that we would entertain anything past there, so, yep.
But I have a feeling that plot to the north, if they convince the city of Harrisburg that, you know, something of somebody's idea of whoever owns that, if it fits into Harrisburg's plan, then all of a sudden is then they're the potential that we're looking at a new planned growth area across the street too. Like, I don't.
Well, and I don't want to think that we're the comp plan, we're the county's driving the boat here. It's really, we're just making sure that everybody's consistent and everybody's on board with what it is.
Okay.
It's the city of Harrisburg, you go back to the previous version, the city of Harrisburg recommended approval of this, but we denied it, and we could still deny this. But this just checks all the boxes that we had within the comprehensive plan, this application does. Okay, thank you.
Are you ready for a vote, Commissioner Green?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's start on your side.
Oh, gosh.
Should have thought you were thinking, yeah.
Right? Still
You
thinking.
want to go the other side?
No, I'm okay.
All right, Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Boots?
Yes.
Commissioner Otten?
As the Lincoln County Commission representative, I will be abstaining, but I have no conflict of interest.
Commissioner Sweeter?
Yes.
And Commissioner Jungley is also a yes. All right, thank you, everyone. Good conversation. That's why I like having this board up there. We try to think through everything, and we think long-term about the county. All right, Mr. Brown, can we do item number 2?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this next item is a conditional use permit for an oversized accessory building. As you're aware, this property is located in the Lakeview Estates subdivision, which is just to the, I'd say to the northwest side of Lake Alvin. As you can see, this property is zoned RR rural residential, as is surrounding properties. The property this is a curvilinear lot, so I'll apologize for saying to the south and to the west of it. That is an existing farmstead that still exists. So that's the A1 agricultural zoning district that is there. So the subject property, staff did just issue a building permit for a single-family dwelling on this property. The plans show that single-family dwelling will have a finished habitable space of a little over 3,700 square feet in size. And so the applicant did submit a concept plan with the application, or a site plan, showing to construct approximately, and this is where the numbers will get a little fuzzy, but 1,600 square feet would be the interior size of it, so the proposed accessory building does have some cutouts on it. But overall, the exterior dimensions is about 1,616 square feet proposal of it. And so as you're aware, that under the zoning regulations in a rural residential zoning district in the county, if you're building an accessory building over 1,500 square feet, it does require a conditional use permit prior to a building permit issuance with it. So as you can see on the concept plan, is that the proposed building would meet and exceed all setback regulations that are proposed. Typically, an accessory building located in the rear yard could be 3 feet from the side or rear property lines. This proposal would exceed those requirements. As part of the staff analysis, we did review the application, did have some conversations with the applicant. The applicant in this case is the home builder for the project, as well as will be the contractor on the accessory building with it. So some of the analysis here is that this site is 1.95 acres in size, so it is a little bit larger than what the minimum lot size is within the rural residential zoning district. The street access will be off of Cedar Ridge Court. Cedar Ridge Court is a publicly dedicated right-of-way, but it's not been accepted, so it's essentially a homeowner's relationship that they have for maintaining that access point. It is a paved road, though, within that development. The proposed building, again, would be a 1,616 square foot building. Again, it does meet and exceed all of it. Parking requirements for rural residential single-family dwelling is just one off-street parking space. That's typically met with their driveway, which would be exceeded by the driveway that would be attached to this requirement. There was no screening showed on the site plan, but if you look at the pictures that we included in the analysis, the property that would be directly to the west does have quite a bit of existing tree plantings within it, so there is a landscape buffer on that side of it. And so with this type of an application, we do put, so staff does recommend approval of this application with the 6 conditions that were listed there. And so again, we would limit the size of this, the location of it, to the submitted site plan. Did round it to the 1,620 square feet. We typically do that when we're limiting the size of the accessory building just to give space. But again, this property or this building can't be used for commercial use, can't be used as a dwelling at any time, as well as requiring that any outdoor lighting would be down, shined down so that it doesn't affect adjacent properties within it. So in discussing with the applicant, the applicant did send notification to adjoining property owners, as well as the staff did post the property for the public hearing, as well as I'm aware of that the applicant did visit with the developer of the property to make sure it was compliant with any covenants or regulations that they have, as well as my understanding is that the property owner did send additional letter to surrounding properties to kind of talk a little bit about what the proposal would be. So this proposal is somewhat unique, is that the house would be larger than the accessory building, so that's somewhat unique than most of our applications that we receive. So this would be less than the finished habitable space that's within the structure. So did take a look at additional, there is 3 criteria for conditional use permits, as you're aware. Do feel that this is a use that's allowable within a rural residential area. There are other properties within the area that do have accessory buildings and uses, swimming pools or additional structures. So with the limitations of can't be used for a business, can't be used for a dwelling, and I should mention too is that the applicant's proposing to construct it of similar materials or like materials as what the single-family dwelling will be constructed. So that should limit any impact from a visual perspective to adjacent property owners with it. So again, staff does recommend approval of this application with the 6 conditions that were listed in the staff report. As of this time, staff has received no comments or calls or questions regarding this particular application. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it back to you and answer any questions that you or the board has for staff at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. All right, Commissioners, any questions for staff?
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
sir.
The applicant is in attendance this evening, so.
Great. I'll ask the applicant come forward and speak about their application.
Good evening, Brad Strike with Strike Construction. As Toby described pretty good, I was hired by the Wessels to construct their home. And the unattached garage that they want is exceeding the 1,500 square foot. And their main use for it is they want to basically store their RV camper in it and a boat. And it will be, like Toby also stated, it will be finished with the same exterior finishes as the main house structure, so it matches and doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. It looks like it belongs.
Great. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant?
I also did bring drawing renderings if he wanted to gaze at them. It's the architect's.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I assume with it parking RVs, is it gonna be taller than or is it taller than your average exterior building?
No, it's right in there. It's shorter than the main structure, the house. It's
Okay.
shorter than that. The house is maxed out at 35 feet tall, and this will be probably in that 28-foot range.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll ask anybody in favor of the application, please come forward. I'll ask for anybody in opposition of the application, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the floor to public input, and I'll ask for a motion from the commission.
Motion to approve applications with the 6 stipulations as listed in the staff report. Green?
Second, Boots.
All right, thank you. Any additional comments? Discussion, I should say.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
No, the only question I had and was answered, and what I like to hear, that the outbuilding's gonna look like the house. It's gonna have shingles, it's gonna have siding, it's just not gonna be a steel structure out there. And not that there's anything wrong with the steel structure, but it has its place, and its place wouldn't be here, so I will vote in support of.
All right, commissioners, any additional comments? I'll say my thing, you know.
You love garages.
I
I love
garages.
sheds.
Is it big enough?
All right, with that, I'll do roll call. Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Boots,
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeter,
Yes.
sorry, Commissioner Otten.
Again, as the Lincoln County Commission representative, I will be abstaining, but I have no conflict of interest.
Thank you. And Commissioner Jungley is also a yes. Congratulations. All right, with that, our next order of business. I lost it. We have, there we go. All right, is there any old business, Mr. Brown?
No old business.
Thank you. We'll move to new business.
Just 2 items for the board. So the first would be is that tomorrow evening at the Board of Commissioners meeting at 6:30 here at the commission meeting room. They will be taking up the appeal of conditional use permit that was for Red Rock, which was down by the dairy, for the milk condensing plant, the agricultural aid operation. That was appealed, so tomorrow evening is time and place for the appeal hearing for that. Second thing is that we did take a month off of the subcommittee of the planning commission working on the bylaws and working on the zoning ordinance amendments, but we're gonna pick that back up and hopefully get 2 meetings in between now and then so that we can bring some changes forward to you on those items. Otherwise, that's all I had, Mr. Chair. If there's any questions for me at this time, so,
I don't have any. Commissioners?
thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Brown, was there another letter in our packet we need to review?
Oh, sorry. I did forget about that. So, sorry, I missed that. So, number 1 item was a review of use 0037-2024. So last year, the planning commission approved a conditional use permit for a kennel. And so one of the conditions on there as listed in the, it's right there in that one. So, one of the conditions for approval was that there would be a 1-year review from the date of approval. So if you recall, this was a compliance item. So the property, the leasee of the property was conducting a kennel without a permit. So staff brought him in on a review. We did an after-the-fact permit to approve a kennel on there. If you recall, he said, I'm in the process of moving away. So he did move away. And so we did identify that he moved away in September of last year. And so when that September comes up this year, if the kennel is not operating on the property at that time, staff will just vacate the conditional use permit. So just wanted to, it was a requirement that you guys review it within a year, but just wanted to notify for the record that he's no longer operating that business, doesn't live on that property. And in our research, the current leasee or owner is not conducting it as well, but we'll make sure we verify that at that time.
Okay.
So essentially how staff will do is we'll just cancel it so the ordinance stipulates that if a use ceases to exist for a year, then it goes away. It's non-existent. So we would cancel on our records and put it away. So I apologize, I got ahead of myself there.
Nope,
So that
all
was-
good.
That was number 1 on the item. So yes, that's just the update. But if you have any questions for staff, I'll certainly take them at this time on that item.
Okay, then it clarified, and there's no action need to be taken
No
by the
action
board, it'll
taken.
just dissolve all
Yep.
that way. Okay.
Yep.
Can I ask a clarifying question? So when you say if the use ceases to exist after a year, we'll just cancel it, is that for all, like, so say some of these conditional use permits that we've approved elsewhere in the county for like automotive work on some property, if it just ceases to exist for a year, because I know we've always said, well, if it's on the property, it's just there forever. Is that not the case?
No, so we do, so we have a little over, I'm gonna say 2,600 conditional use permits that have been approved by Lincoln County. And so we try to do a third of those, we just review them, we go out and do site inspections and things like that. And so if we know it on those site inspections that it's no longer there, some of the items it's a little tough to decipher. But this one particularly is that we can tell it's not an operation on that part of it. So yes, so the ordinance does have a provision where we would just cancel it. But we'll notify the property owner and, if they can demonstrate that they've been operating it, then we continue to work with them on that stuff. But yeah, as long as they continue to operate it or if they can sell it to someone else, as long as they would meet these conditions, they can continue to operate a kennel on that property. But that's not what's occurring on the property now, so.
Thanks for that clarification,
Yep.
Toby. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, with that, unless there's anything else, I'll ask for a motion for adjourn.
So move, Boots.
Second, Green?
All right, we have a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.